Okay, so Julian Assange has just been released from prison and has landed in his native Australia. And now, in case, first of all, if you've been living under a rock and you're wondering who Julian Assange is, I think you should go and check out my full video that I did on Julian Assange's life. And in that video, I had promised you that I would be updating my viewers about whatever happens in the Julian Assange case further. Since we have a positive news now that Julian Assange has been finally released. Now, who is Julian Assange? He is basically an Australian hacker who founded an organization called Wikileaks, which leaks classified military and government documents from around the world. Now, if you are aware of the US government and its functioning and the US intelligence agency and how important national security and classified documents are, you know that this is almost as if it's a suicide mission, literally. So hats off to Julian Assange for having the balls to even fight against this massive Goliath. Now, here's the thing. For the past 14 years, Assange has been in a legal battle with the US officials who accused him of leaking documents that would put lives in danger. Now, what do you mean by putting lives in danger? Let me tell you. So, these documents were disclosed in 2010 when the website released a video from a US military helicopter which showed civilians being killed in the Iraqi capital, Baghdad, by the US forces openly. It also published thousands of confidential documents suggesting that the military helicopter had killed hundreds of civilians in unreported incidents during the war in Afghanistan as well as Iraq. So basically, the US government was caught giving democracy to Iraq and Afghanistan, which is why they're very angry at it. So here's the thing now. Even though Julian Assange has been released from prison, I feel like this is more of keeping your image clean kind of a reason why this has happened. Because let's be honest, Julian Assange was definitely a threat to US national security in terms that it was putting it in a bad light, right? Mike Pompeo, the director of the CIA, called Julian Assange.
WikiLeaks walks like a hostile intelligence service and talks like a hostile intelligence service. It has encouraged its followers to find jobs at the CIA in order to obtain intelligence. It's time to call out WikiLeaks for what it really is: a non-state hostile intelligence service often abetted by state actors like Russia.
Right? So, why would they release him? In fact, Julian Assange's wife thanked the Australian Prime Minister for basically helping and standing up against the US from preventing Assange from being extradited to the US, right? So that's why he's been released. But this is the same Australian government that just a few years earlier had given up on Assange and said that we have nothing to do with him and you can do whatever you want with Assange, since the days he was held at the Ecuadorian embassy in London. And in case if you're still wondering what am I talking about, I think you should go and check out my video. So here's the thing. I think the Western world was getting a lot of bad light. They were being called out for their hypocrisy, and since the Western world is already being under fire for not really doing anything about the Palestinian genocide that is going on right now, another reason is that quite recently Alexei Navalny, who was one of the main political opponents of Vladimir Putin in Russia, was killed, and he was hailed as a hero by the US. And this just shows the US government's irony, where they're calling out one side, Alexei Navalny, as a hero for opposing Putin, but at the same time, when a journalist in the West does the same thing against the Western government, they claim that he's threatening national security, right? So I feel like there's nothing to be surprised about this, because this is very well expected. It's geopolitics, and everybody wants to protect their own personal rights and their own personal interests at the end of the day. So the US would love to protect its title as the protector of freedom and free speech and free expression, right? So I feel like since it was getting a lot of bad light because of the Assange issue, they have released Julian Assange and he wouldn't be extradited to the US and he's a free man. On the other hand, I am really happy for Julian Assange. He's gone through a lot of trouble and a lot of issues from the past decade, ever since he decided to take on the US government as one man, and he's got a lot of balls to do that. Hats off to Julian Assange, and I'm really happy for him being a free man, and I hope that he will live the rest of his life united with his family. And once again, if you haven't checked out the video on Julian Assange, you need to check it out because you're gonna really like it. I mean, I know it's not the best editing and best quality, but once again, I need to promise you that over the years, I'm 19 right now, okay? I've started off this channel and I plan to stick with it for quite some time, and I'm talking about decades. So imagine, like, over the years, as I'm get better with doing what I'm doing, the quality of my videos are gonna increase and just get better over time. So yeah, just stick with me for now, and don't forget to check out the Julian Assange video. Thank you.